And we noticed you get excited about Riesling, you get excited about cow shit, you get excited about a lot of things. What when do you get excited most?
Well, for me, the most exciting period of the year is always the harvest. You know, it's the run-up. You've lived a whole year. You've lived a year from January. You know, when you see, you know, you start with your pruning, and then you come into the springtime, and you see the first green shoots coming out of the vine. Then the critical period of flowering, you know, the weather has to be good. If it's not, and then the ripening of the summer, and then finally 40 Polish guys and girls arrive for hand picking the grapes, and then you see the first days of the grapes being delivered here, and then you come down into the cellar with the winemaker maybe in the next few weeks again, and you start to taste from barrel, and then by the time the wine actually gets into the bottle, it's like an old friend. You know, you see it in every stage of its birth, if you like, and this is amazing for me. But I'm also, of course, fascinated by cow shit.
And why is that?
Yeah, we are a winery who has a great respect for our vineyards and the long-term development of our vineyards, that our soil remains healthy, our vines are happy vines, if you like. And part of this is that we work biodynamically, and a small part of biodynamics is making a biodynamic compost. Monty Walden, our biodynamic guy, he's really amazed. He's Mr. Compost, and he will take you to a compost heap and show you how you have this wonderful, it doesn't smell of anything, you know, it smells of humus, it smells of earth, you know, it's a very pure form of earth that we bring onto the vineyard to encourage the vineyard to create healthy soils. And this way, maybe you understand now my interest is in cow shit, but it's more in the compost.
It's a way of living.
It's a way of living, yeah, exactly, that's right. But I'm smelling okay, so don't worry.
And you also told me something you like, running in the forest and the hills.
Sure. I mean, the beautiful thing about the Pfalz is, one reason here is that we have all these wonderful wines, and the better the wines become, the better the restaurants become, because the customers coming here are more fussy, you know, about what they eat. And just behind the vineyards, you know, where the vineyards stop, the Mittelhart begins, what the Germans call the Pfälzerwald, the Pfalz woods. Yeah? And this is the longest unbroken forest in Germany, you know. And I think most people drive along the main street here, and they see them, but they don't go up there. And there's whole walking, there's pathways, and because it's Germany, and you know, they're famous for organization, you know, they're all marked, and you can walk for miles. And then suddenly you will come around the corner thinking you're the only guy in the hills, and there's 200 German guys having lunch, you know, because there's a small hut there. And I'm running up there, and I can really recommend this. It's a very good way for clearing your head, and of course, if you're a wine guy, from working off a little bit of that dinner and Riesling, and more dinners and more Riesling, you know. Over the last 20 years, we had a complete rediscovery of Riesling, of its potential as showing the vineyard that it comes from, showing its full character in the wine. You know, we more than half the yield in the vineyard, and we start really to get the flavors again. And the more we got it, the more it was clear to us we have to concentrate on what we do best. And this is what we do best. So this is our total focus now, a downsizing onto dry Riesling.
And you also told me you were selling actually land and everything, or?
Yeah, down onto the Rhine basin, where the soil is much too rich. It's great for fruit and vegetable, you know, short root crops, but it holds a lot of water, so it's no point you can't make good wine down there. So instead of wasting our energy there, we got rid of 20 hectares right when Bettina, the owner today, in 1990, when she took over, and we lease it out to somebody else, and we focus on the top vineyards, and that's the vineyards that you've just seen here on the slopes. Ideal sunshine, best soils.
Okay, so less is more.
Less is more.